I'rabul asma'i. I'rab of asma. Asma is the plural of ism. And i'rab we all know status. Okay. Wa wazifatuha. Ha is an attached pronoun and wazifa means function. And their function. Dakhilul jumlati al-fi'liyati wal jumlatil ismiyati. That when they enter or when they play their function in jumlatul fi'liya or jumlatul ismiya. So what is it? That what is the i'rab of asma or plural of ism, and what is their function when they enter in jumlatul fi'liya and jumlatul ismiya. So this is the topic of this whole discussion. One more time, different asma, different nouns, when they are used in jumlatul ismiya or jumlatul fi'liya, what is their function and what is their status? Clear? So the reason I discuss this topic is we have covered all of that, alhamdulillah. But I just want to make sure that we know these terms as well. Why? Because this is our advanced level. So inshallah we can discuss these things now. So there is, it's impossible. You can search any book on Arabic grammar and they do not discuss this topic. This topic would be there. So al-marfu'at mean what are those situations when ism is marfu, and marfu mean in the status of rafa. First of all, al-mubtada. We have discussed this, that when ism performs the function wazifa, function of mubtada, it will be in rafa status. Al-khabr, when ism is performing the role of khabar or predicate, it will be in rafa status. Ismu kana wa akhawatuha. As you know that kana, as we know the inna and the family of inna, likewise kana has its family as well. We have not discussed the rest of the members of this family. However, we have discussed the concept of kana. So the ism of kana is in rafa status. For example, please pay attention. Kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. Kana Allahu. Allah is. Allah is the ism of kana, because as if you remember this discussion, please pay attention. I repeat this one if you forgot, or in case if you forgot, that inna and kana, in one sense, they are similar concepts. What does it mean? That as in the case of inna or the any of the member of the inna family, right after inna, you have ism of inna and then khabar of inna. Same is the case with kana. Whenever you see kana, right after that, you will have ism of kana and then khabar of kana. Clear? However, there are three differences. Please pay attention. Difference number one, inna is a harf and kana is a fail. Why? Because kana has element of time, because kana mean was, and when you say was, it has element of tense, and when a word has a tense attached to it, we know it will be fail. So kana is fail, but inna is the harf. Second difference is that in case of inna, the ism of inna is always outside of inna, after the inna, which means after inna, you will get ism of inna clearly written after inna. Sometime a clear ism and sometime attached pronoun. For example, please pay attention. If I say inna Allaha ghafurur rahim, inna Allaha, you see inna and then Allaha is the ism of inna. And look at second example, innahu ghafurun rahim. Now innahu, after inna you have the attached pronoun who. This who is performing the function of ism of inna. So ism of inna is sometime a clear ism after the inna and sometime a pronoun attached with inna. That is the situation of ism of inna. But ism of kana, it can be outside of kana, like kana Allahu Ghafuran Rahima. And sometimes it could be the built-in pronoun. Why? Because we know if kana is a fail, every fail has a built-in pronoun. And this is the reason kana has its whole chart same like the Madi chart. And this we have done this one. Inshallah, if you want to go back to watch it again, this was the first recorded lesson of level 2. This was this topic discussed in the first recorded lesson of level 2. Inshallah, I will share the link again in the group. So difference number 1, inna is a harf and kana is a fail. Difference number 2, ism of inna is always after the inna, either clear ism or attached pronoun. But ism of kana can be outside of kana and can be a built-in pronoun. Because in the case of fail, if kana is used as number 1 in the chart kana or number 4 kanat, in these two cases it can have outside file, but in rest of the cases it has inside file. So kana can have outside file or inside ism or outside ism, but inna has always outside. And then difference number 3, ism of inna, as we all know, because job of inna family is that they make the next thing nasab. That's why we call them harf nasab. Clear? So ism of inna is in nasab status, but ism of kana is in rafa status. Let me summarize the whole concept of inna and kana one more time, and I want you to please be attentive and you can ask questions if you don't understand this one. Inna and kana, they function the same way, which means as inna has a ism of inna and khabar of inna, likewise kana has a ism of kana and khabar of kana. However, they have 3 differences. Number 1, inna is a harf and kana is a fail. Number 2, ism of inna is always outside of inna, either clear ism or attached pronoun. But ism of kana can be outside and can be built in pronoun as well. And difference number 3, ism of inna is in nasab status, but ism of kana is in rafa status. If any question about this concept, you can ask me.
Brother, whatever you said, it's always will be like this.
Yes.
Is there any exception?
No.
Okay, Jazakallah. Can I please repeat? And you said yes or not?
Sister, you don't need to repeat. So you can watch the video after this, inshallah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to save the time, inshallah. So this was mubtada is in rafa status, khabar is in rafa status, ism of kana is in rafa status, and it's ism of kana wa akhawatuha. Sisters of kana will be discussed inshallah very soon. Khabar of inna, not ism of inna, because we know that ism of inna is nasab. Khabar of inna, however, is in rafa status, either khabar of inna or khabar of the akhawatu inna. And then next one is al-fa'il. What is al-fa'il? We know that in case of jumlatul fi'liya, you need a file as well. Sometimes a built-in file and sometimes outside file. But in both cases, it is in rafa status. And last it says at-tawabi. At-tawabi. At-tawabi mean, as we all know, this word is naat. Please pay attention. Naat simply means sifa. In some books, they call it mawsoof and sifa. In some books, they call it man'oot. Man'oot means mawsoof and naat means sifa. As we all know that if you need the sifa of something, sifa is always matches with the mawsoof. Tawabe mean the one who follows. So if your ism is serving as mawsoof, and it is in rafa status, the sifa will be in rafa status as well. One more time, tawabe mean the one which follows, the follower. Tabe means singular, tabe, and tawabe is a plural, followers. Naat means sifa. It means that if in the context you have a ism in rafa status, its naat will be, or its sifa will be in rafa status. Ataf. We have discussed this concept in the study of tashahud. Tashahud of the salah. At-tahiyatu lillahi wa as-salawatu wa at-tayyibatu. At that time I said that as-salawatu and then at-tahiyatu and then was-salawatu wat-tayyibatu. This vow is carrying the same status of at-tahiyatu for both salawatu and tayyibatu. So ataf means whatever comes after the vow, it carries the same status. So if something came before the vow in rafa status, what will come after the vow will be in rafa status. And badal, we discussed this one, that badal and sifa are same concept. The only difference is badal is just a replacement of the previous word. It does not describe the previous word. And sifa actually describe as well. Example is, please pay attention. Example is, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path. And then sirat al-lazina, path of those people. This sirat al-lazina, sirata is the badal of previous as-sirat. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. That as-sirat is replaced with the sirata. But you can see that sirat does not describe the previous word. So this is we call badal. Badal means replacement. So if anybody asks you as a student of Arabic language that what are the marfooat, which means when ism is in rafa status, these are the 6 things: al mubtada, al khabar, ismu kana, khabru inna, al fa'il, and at tawabe. At tawabe are 3: naat, ataf, and badal. Any question about the concept of marfu'at before I move forward?
Is this the exhaustive list or?
Yes, exhaustive.
Okay. Right. Okay.
This is standard.
This is a good chart, then we should memorize it.
Yeah, it's very helpful because obviously, like I said before, the reason I don't, as you can understand it now, there's no reason to discuss these things with a student of a beginner Arabic language. They will be confused. But now we have discussed and studied all of that. Now we can put things in the proper terminologies. Any question about marfu'at? Okay, let's move on. Next is al-mansoobat, which means those situations when ism is in nasab status. Number 1, khabru kana wa akhawatuha, same. So khabru kana, ismu kana was rafa and khabru kana is nasab, because in the case of status, inna and kana are opposite. Please pay attention. You do not ever try to memorize both. You only remember the concept of inna because that is simple. Ism of inna is nasab and khabar of inna is rafa. Kana is the opposite. Whenever two things are completely opposite to each other, it's a good technique. Don't try to memorize both of them. They will confuse your mind. Always memorize and understand only one of them. And in this case, if you remember the concept of inna, that ism of inna is nasab and khabar of inna is rafa. Kana is the opposite, which means ism of kana will be rafa and khabar of kana will be nasab. As you can see, kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. You see, khabar is nasab. So khabar of kana is nasab and ism of inna is nasab. Opposite, okay? And then for these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these are simply maf'ul. Please pay attention. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 simply mean maf'ul. But if you go back to your level 1 class, you can watch that lecture. Maf'ul is always nasab, but they give different names to maf'ul. For example, if maf'ul is giving the information of what, we call it maf'ul bihi. If it gives the information of when, we call it maf'ul fihi. If it gives the information of why, we call it maf'ul li ajalihi or maf'ul lahu. Pay attention. I call them in last time maf'ul lahu, but they also call it maf'ul li ajalihi. Okay, and then al hal mean how. If maf'ul gives the answer of how, we call it maf'ul hal. And maf'ul mutlaq mean when maf'ul does not give the answer of what, why, where, when, and how. Rather, it simply make the sentence emphatic. For example, kallamallahu Musa takliman. Allah spoke to Musa takliman. Now this takliman is extra thing. It is only putting emphasis. This takliman, you can see takliman, nasab status. But this maf'ul is not giving information of anything. It is just to make the sentence emphatic. And last one is same, at-tawabe. At-tawabe mean what? Followers, which mean that if something came as a mawsuf in nasab status, the sifa will be in nasab status. If something came before wow in nasab status, what will come after wow will be in nasab status. If something is came as you can ihdina sirata al mustaqima, then sirata allazina. You see, because the first sirata was nasab, so second sirata was also nasab. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if somebody asks you that how many are the mansoobat, they are 8. In reality, 1, 2, and these are all maf'ul, 3 and 4. But if you give each maf'ul a simple category, then they become 8. Any question about the concept of mansoobat? Okay, no question. Last thing is al-majroorat. Al-majroorat. What it means? When ism is in jar status. Number 1, if it is majroor. Majroor means if it is coming after preposition. And secondly, if it is mudaf ilay, which means it is coming after the mudaf. And then whatever follows, which means if the mawsoof was in jar status. Example is Alhamdulillahi Rabbi, because Allah is the mawsoof and Allah is in jar status. So Rabbi, Maliki, Ar-Rahmani, Ar-Rahimi, all of them are in jar. Why? Because mawsoof was in jar. So at-tawabe mean followers. In reality, only there are two situations when ism is in jar status. Either it is coming after the jar or it is coming as a mudaf ilay. And tawabe simply mean that if it is following something, which means that if mawsoof was jar, if mawsoof was in majroor, then sifa will be majroor. Not mean sifa. If something came before the waw in jar status, what will come after the waw will be in jar status, and likewise replacement. Any question about the concept of majroorat? Now, inshallah, I will share this chart in the group right after this class. So please save this one wherever you are saving all of your resources, because this chart is very important. With this one chart, you can actually revise many things. Inshallah, you can keep this in your some safe place. And if there's any other question, you can ask me, inshallah, about this one. Otherwise, we can move to the second topic. Okay, let's inshallah move to our second topic of today's class. Okay, inshallah, I just want to introduce this one because from next week, inshallah, we are going to study these things. I just want to introduce as the idea. Okay. What is this chart? Al-fi'lun bi'itibarin at-tajarrud wa ziyada. Fail from the angle of absolute and additional. Tajarrud means absolute. Ziyada means additional. Now, it says that fail is divided into two types. Please pay attention. Now discussion is about the fail. The previous chart was discussion about the ism, and now discussion is about the fail. So keep this in your mind. So fail has two types, mujarrad and mazid. Mujarrad means the absolute. Inshallah, we'll see what that means. And then mazid means additional. Mujarrad has further two types. Sulasi. Sulasi means the one which is based on three original letters. And Rubai. Rubai means the one which is based on four original letters. So you can say Sulasi Mujarrad and Rubai Mujarrad. Example of Sulasi is Darasa. Darasa, you can see Darasa. Dal, Ra, and Sin. Three letters. Look at the example of this one. Dahraja. Dahraja. Original letters are more than three. How many? Four. So this is what it means by that if those ism which have absolute letters, either absolutely three letters or absolutely four letters, no more and no less. Clear? Now, in opposite to this absoluteness is the concept of mazid. Mazid means additional. Mazid on this one or mazid on this one, which means additional on three letters or additional on four letters. In case of additional on three letters, look at this chart, please. Inshallah, by the way, this chart is going to be discussed maybe for next 1 month. Every single thing in this chart will be discussed in all details. For now, I'm just giving you an overview. And inshallah, after I describe this one, you can ask me your questions as well. So, in the case of Mazid as-Sulasi, which means when some letters are added to three letters, there can be three possibilities. Number one possibility is biharfin, which means you only add one letter to three, which means example is this was fa'ala, af'ala, af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala. You see, ain has been doubled, fa'ala. And in this case, extra alif, fa'ala. In this case, extra hamza in the start, af'ala, akhbara, aslama. You see all of these words. So sometime with the three original letters, only one letter is added. Sometimes two letters are added. Example, in fa'ala, you see alif Actually Hamza, because alif has a haraka. So Hamza and Noon. If Ta'ala, Hamza and Fa. Tafa'ala, Ta and Fa. Okay, and then sorry, Ta and double Ain. Sorry, Ta and double Ain. And this one, alif, extra Hamza here, and last letter is doubled. In this case, second last letter was doubled. In this case, last letter is doubled. And lastly, in the start, extra ta and fa. Tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. So these are the 5 structures, 5 patterns. If you add 2 letters to 3. And last possibility, if you add 3 letters, you already have 3 and you add extra 3. As you can see, is taf'ala, hamza, sin and ta. Or another pattern of adding the 3 letters is if aw'ala, hamza in the start and then fa and then this waw as well in the middle. And other if lala, hamza in the start and fa and extra letter at the end as well. Last letter is doubled. As I said before, each one of them will come inshallah in detail. But for now, just the overall view of the whole thing. And last thing, inshallah, if you add extra letters to the 4 letters, because this thing is adding extra letters to the 3 letters, to this one. And this last portion is adding extra letters to this one, to 4. There are already 4 original and then extra. Okay. If you there are 2 possibilities. Adding only 1 letter, which means 4 already plus 1, and that 1 can be in the start ta. Taf, tafa, lala, tafa, lala. And second is if you add 2 letters, already 4, and then you add 2 more. And how to add those 2 more? Extra hamza and fa in the start. And in this case, extra hamza here, and then last letter is doubled. It means this is the complete study of the entire concept of fail. In a nutshell, fail is into 2 categories. It is either absolutely on some letters or with the additional letters. In case of absolutely, either absolutely 3 letters or absolutely 4 letters. No more, no less. In the case of additional, both addition on 3 letters or addition on 4 letters. Addition on 3 letters has 3 possibilities. Addition of 1, 2 or 3. And addition of 4 has only 2 possibilities. Addition of 1 or 2. If you have any question about the structure of the chart, you can ask me.
Is it necessary to memorize any this structure or just
not at this stage, not at this
Okay.
stage.
Okay.
And brother, these 3 or 4 letters, it can be anything, any letters.
Yes, brother, any letters.
Okay, so
For example, you know, this dahraja, if I say zalzala, zalzala, same pattern. The thing is that the original letters are 4. So it means what we are learning is that original letters can either be 3 or 4. Any other thing is called addition. Either addition on 3 original or addition on 4 original.
And brother, another silly question. What does it mean by original over here?
Original means those letters which will always stay there. For example, as we have studied the chart of Nasara, in the entire chart, Noon, Sad and Ra, they must stay. Our Nasara chart is the example of this one. Clear now?
Yeah.
Brother, I have a question like extra letter. How many it could be added? Like 2, 1, 2, 3, up to how many?
This is the answer. If you are talking about the extra on original 3, then it can be extra 1 or extra 2 or extra 3. If you ask me about extra letters on 4, then only 2 possibilities, either extra 1 or extra 2.
Okay, so
so
it's not going to be exit this.
Just 1 second. Basically, it depends. Extra on what? Extra on 3 has 3 possibilities. 3 and extra 1, or 3 and extra 2, or 3 and extra 3. In terms of original 4, only 2 possibilities. Original 4 plus 1, or original 4 plus 2.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
And now